the engravings which was used for printing illustrations for Bible or anything. But after that, the artists used for their own expression.
True.
So the technology which is existing there but obsolete for the mass production or the industry is adapted by the artist.
Hi, good afternoon. We are here at Dattatreya studio and we are doing another episode of our uh, series on interviewing artists who are printmakers and who work with printmaking as a medium. And today we are with Dattatreya Apte, who has graduated from Pune University and then at MS University, which is my alma mater as well. And we are so happy to have you, sir.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us. We shall start rolling out the conversation, talking about your first experience with printmaking and how you decided that you wanted to be an artist, firstly, and secondly, the journey to becoming a printmaker.
Okay.
So we'll start rolling with that.
Thank you. When you are a child, your experiences, you gather a lot of experiences, seeing around what is happening, and your parents guide you, give you directions. Being a teacher, my father was a teacher, and he used to indulge in so many things, like doing drawings for teaching, as in teaching aid for the classes. He used to draw himself the illustrations for his lessons, and I was looking at them while I was a very child. He told me how you can paint or how you can take colors with minimum expenditure. So if you don't have brush, you can use cotton and tie around a stick, and you can use like a brush. So if you don't have anything, still you have so many things around you, and how you can use those things for your own creativity.
Your creative.
I think that was the first lesson I got.
How old were you then?
Must be 5 years.
5 years.
5 years.
Wow, amazing.
My grandfather was a photographer,
Oh,
and I used to see him touching negatives, correcting them, and taking prints and painting the photographs, taking gray photographs and painting them like a colored photograph. So I was curious how he does it. So I used to visit a lot of times, and
and this is
when I
something he did
was in
professionally?
4th or 5th class,
He did this professionally? He was painting?
yeah, he was doing professional.
Okay.
He was a self-taught photographer, but he has bellow cameras and glass negatives. He used to make glass negatives himself and take contact prints and do painting the photographs. So I saw them painting. So that was the introduction. And we have, in Maharashtra, there are a lot of akhadas, like for kushti and malkham and all that. And he was very fond of that. So he used to take me there every day. So your upbringing has many dimensions.
True.
And we had Hanuman Jayanti, a very big festival, in that akhada. So he used to make me draw Hanuman every time. So that was the beginning, and telling stories about that. So you get imbibed in storytelling and narration and so many things.
Right.
And my father's teacher used to have Mahabharat reading for 15 days, Bhagwat Puran. So in the morning, they used to read the Sanskrit text, and in the afternoon, they used to tell the narration in Marathi. So every story, every day, I was supposed to do a drawing for that day's story.
Oh, lovely.
Whatever drawing I was doing, I don't know.
And how old were you then?
8 or 10 years, maybe. But what I was doing, I don't know. But the thing is, the encouragement you get. Whatever you do, people appreciate. And that makes you do the same thing again and again. Like using small pieces of paper and doing something, scribbling on it. So I think that was a germ which made me see myself doing art. I don't know whether professional or what, but that was a thing.
So that was
And I was living in a place where it was an old fort. My architectural drawings are for that matter.
coming
It's
from there.
yes, because we used to play in that premises all the time. So I used to see a lot of bastions and big doors and strong stone structures. That was the thing, the beginning.
The beginning of your
Yeah.
journey. And then when you came
Pune.
to Pune, when did you decide you were going to do printmaking?
Printmaking happened very late.
Ah,
I had studied painting and drawing and
painting
painting.
and drawing first.
And when I passed out, when I finished my graduation, I was teaching there for 4 years in
In
the same
Pune?
college.
Okay.
But at that time, one of very great mind in art, Gondhalekar, he was editor for Vishwakosh in Marathi, and the art part he was doing that. He was Dean Zeze School of Art in 1953 when I was born,
Oh, wow.
and he was teaching art history there. And he was student in Slade School of Art in 1937, traveled all over Europe, America, Japan, everywhere. And he was versatile. He was a musician, he was a writer, he was very good portrait artist, very good in drawing. And he studied printmaking in Slade. And we were very curious to know about. Nobody was teaching printmaking there.
At that time. Okay.
Nobody was teaching. And in Max Muller Bhavan was very active in Pune in those days, in 70s.
Right.
And they used to have exhibitions almost every year. I saw hard edge silkscreen prints in 70s in Pune, which were exhibited in NGMA in 90s.
Oh,
The same exhibition
same
came.
one was
The same exhibition came in 90s in NGMA, but I happened to see that.
in Pune in the 70s.
And some very good etching prints in the same premises. That was the curiosity point, how it is being done. And Pune has big litho presses also at that time. One of the press has a master printer. He was in Bombay doing posters for films. But after the offset came, he came to Pune, and he was doing matinee posters for the matinee.
Okay.
And election posters also on litho stone. He used to grind stone himself, draw, print, everything.
Wow, that is
And
really
he has got
amazing.
flatbed offset press.
And he was doing it alone at that time? Or
Everything. He had a proofing machine
Uh-huh.
and a flatbed machine, both.
Oh,
So he was doing edition, and he was printing on cloth, he was printing on paper, and he was very versatile in doing the images, text, everything. So I was very curious. When I was teaching, I tried my level best to introduce this medium to students, but nobody was interested. Printmaking was nobody's choice.
okay.
There is a lot of
Can I
labor.
ask why that was? Was
Lot
there
of labor. Nobody
much
wanted
labor,
to
okay.
do that labor, and the outcome is repetitive. That was another thing.
that was ah,
And it has less value than the painting. That was
that we know. That is
that is the
that is the
main
cross that
main
printmaking
point.
carries. Yeah.
But just beside my college, there was Chitrashala Press, where Ravi Verma's oleographs were printed.
Right.
So I have seen the stones with images and the proofs in that press.
Right.
So that was the beginning to know about printmaking. I was not very curious to know how it is being done, the technique part of it, because I was not aware. But Mr. Gondhalekar, he introduced us to wood engraving. Nobody, because wood engraving, you have to have different wood. You don't have that boxwood there. So he told me, no need of boxwood, because fruit wood is very good wood, because it has a compact grain. So you can cut any
It's not too thin, but
No, you can have 1 inch thick,
You
whatever,
can-
cross section, you require cross section
Okay.
because there is no resistance in cutting. In plank, you get a resistance while
yeah, a
cutting,
lot of resistance.
but in cross section, you don't get resistance. So the guava tree has a beautiful texture and beautiful surface. So I did some wood engravings there. Just looking, and for the tools matter. So all the goldsmith tools, all the goldsmiths were doing engravings in Europe at the time of Renaissance.
Right.
So the same tools can be used for wood engraving. So this is the way he used to teach history. So this was a combination of teaching things.
Right.
That really interested me doing printmaking. But after teaching for 4 years, nobody was interested in doing printmaking. So I left that and went to Baroda to study printmaking.
But there they already had that culture.
Yeah, they had, but I didn't know anything about printmaking.
Right.
So for the first year, I was just struggling to understand every medium, how it works, and pros and cons of every medium, the shortfalls, what you can really achieve in that medium and what you cannot. So these are the things one can understand in 1 year, not because I was doing masters there.
Right.
So in the graduation, I never did printmaking, but I did printmaking only in the masters.
But masters is 2 years, no?
Yeah, 2 years. First year I devoted only to understand the medium. I was not very curious about what image I was drawing, whether there is theme or no theme or nothing of
So
the
you were
sort.
just involved in
Exploring the possibilities of
the
every medium.
technicalities of it. Okay.
And there used to happen workshops or portfolio print or the art fair. Like in every year there used to be art fair. So teachers used to come and do prints. Like K.G. Subramaniam used to do silk screen, Jairam Patel used to do lithograph, or Vinod Patel used to do woodcut or lino cut. So they were engaged in different sort of exploring the medium. They were not teaching us, but we were getting exposure
Yeah, you're getting
while
exposure.
they're working because we are just helping them to
Watching
do
them,
things.
helping. Yes, yes, yes.
So grinding the stone for Jairam Patel or doing while he's drawing it, he's finished the drawing, then processing and printing,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
edition.
Even cleaning the plate
Whatever.
also.
Yes.
That is also
Like
something you
Jyoti
learn.
Bhatt was very, very meticulous about certain things and he
Yeah.
very flexible also at the same
Yes.
time. These experience make you something different,
Right,
the kind
right,
of exposure you get. And in the second year, Sanatkar came there as a visiting faculty
Right.
for few days, and I saw him doing wood intaglio there for the first time. It was very fabulous way of working and treating the wood for intaglio printing. Otherwise, we were doing etchings, like color printing. So the limitations, how they mastered the limitations, because viscosity was not possible. You don't get the roller, the temperature is too different, your rollers get damaged because of the temperature, difference in temperature. So how he managed his way of doing color prints in wood intaglio. Zinc plate is very expensive, wood is very cheap. How one can manipulate that? I think that was a very important aspect to learn from many of these. And getting the material, because whatever they have left, you can take it and use it. So you learn the way they were doing things.
Right.
So I think that makes your curiosity bloom
Right, right, right.
and do something.
So to jump forward, now I would just like you to talk a little bit about the content of your work. Like we just went to your studio and saw some beautiful prints where you have done a series which is with the pandemic for Jay. So in that work you had talked about the self being there and not being there. So if you can tell us a little bit about that series and the books and the books which have been tied up and kept away in the library.
The first reflection work I did was in 79 when I was in Baroda, where I was doing masters. I went to see a book exhibition which was in a glass building
Right.
in front of arts faculty. And I was looking at the books from outside, not really getting into the bookshop, but outside. And I was stunned by the image reflected on the glass because the whole building at the back was reflected on the
Into
glass.
the glass.
So I thought this is the different dimension. You can see what is not being seen in front of you, but it's there on the glass. It is there and it is not there. If you shift somewhere else, the image is gone. So the transient moment, I was very much impressed.
Right.
And the things happening inside and the things happening behind
Outside.
you
Yes.
are there on the glass because
Right.
of the glass panel and the light.
Right.
So I was stuck with that image and I started doing lithograph. I just did one lithograph of that series in 79. And maybe in 1994 or something, I did another work.
Oh.
So in between there was a lot of gap. And
But you preserved that work. You kept it.
that is there. That is
Yeah.
there. The thing is, when you get that inspiration from what incident, you'd never know. I was doing a lot of auto rickshaw series before that. In my final year, last few months, I went to KG Subramaniam and showed my work just to understand what he thinks about my work. He saw my work for almost 2 hours and then he said, what interests you more now? So I showed one print which was done auto rickshaw series because the image of a two-wheeler or a three-wheeler without people inside or with people on it makes different. It has got a human culture. It turns human at times
Okay.
because the person using that vehicle leaves some impression of himself on that vehicle.
Right.
How he uses it, how he treats that vehicle, it is reflected.
Yes.
So that kind
Also,
of parking.
it got a popular culture as
Yeah.
well.
I don't know popular culture or not, but
Yeah, yeah.
I was attracted more to the volume and the space within it. I was doing a lot of lithographs. I did almost 20, 30 lithographs in 2, 3 months.
Okay.
So every day one lithograph. That was my target.